Hey, what's up everyone? I'm BeBe Nycole. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is going to be a Pretty Girls Read video. This will be my first reading vlog ever, and the featured book for today's vlog will be The Little Black Book of Success, Laws of Leadership for Black Women. This book has 3 authors, and if you guys want to see my first impressions of this book, just continue watching. I want to remind you guys to wake up, pray, get pretty, hustle, and repeat. Your girl is out. Bye. Stay dope.
If you talk all the time, you'll never hear what anybody else has to say. And therefore all you'll have to talk about is your own conversation. The same is true for people who think all the time. That means, when I use the word think, talking to yourself, subvocal conversation, the constant chit-chat of symbols and images and talk and words inside your skull. Now, if you do that all the time, you'll find that you've nothing to think about except thinking. And just as you have to stop talking to hear what others have to say, you have to stop thinking to find out what life is about. And the moment you stop thinking, you become into immediate contact with the unspeakable world.
Hi guys. So I'm gonna jump right into this vlog by telling you guys my first impressions of the book that I'm reading, which is The Little Black Book of Success, Laws of Leadership for Black Women. I love this book simply because it's a call to action book. That basically means that they immediately give you direction and they immediately ask you to take certain steps to make sure that you're getting the most out of this book and getting the most out of the experience and the lessons that they're trying to teach you. The first call to action is to get your plan, which basically in a nutshell is your personal leadership book. They want you to get this notebook and start writing down ideas, your thoughts, basically anything that stands out to you or resonates with you while you're reading this book, jot it down. And when they give you another call to action or when they give you the next step to take, of course you refer to your plan or your personal leadership notebook and you jot it down. The first law of this book is to always consider yourself a VIP. I think that is a dope law to start a book with. If you're going to have a book of laws, I think this is the most absolute law, is self. And basically to look at yourself as a VIP simply just means to have great self-esteem, to have great confidence. Self-esteem is the most critical aspect of leadership in my opinion, and actually in this book she says the same thing. It just concurs what I feel. I feel like before you can take on the world, you have to take on yourself, and you have to take on, having a positive image of self, having a I can do attitude, having a nothing can stop me attitude. And I think that really got me excited about this book because, like, if I was going to make a book about laws to success or laws of leadership, I would definitely start with self. Another thing that stood out to me so far in this book is that the author talks about how people of color, as well as women, we aren't valued. Therefore, we consciously and subconsciously transfer that into our life, into our workplace. AKA, we manifest that in our life, in our workplace. So with the law of considering yourself a VIP, it's imperative, it's important that you have that attitude that you can do all things, that you have a strong sense of self-worth and self-value, because you're going to face a lot of obstacles in the workforce. You're going to face a lot of obstacles in the real world. And if you don't believe to your core that you are very important, you will most likely find yourself struggling to lead out in the world. You will most likely find yourself not accomplishing tasks simply because you have doubt, self-doubt. The author just pretty much wants you to have a strong sense of self. Like, that is the absolute law. That is the first law. That is the first thing they want you to take away from this book. They also talk about other things that we'll face in the workplace as well as in the world. And when I say we, I say people of color, men, etc. You know, the author also talks about how to overcome prejudice in the workplace, or to overcome discrimination, racism, all of those things in the workplace or in the world, in your day-to-day life. You have to first acknowledge that it actually exists. That's the only way that you can overcome it. I feel that this book is filled with gems and tidbits and different things you can apply to your life. So far the first chapter is pretty good, and I didn't go into detail. You have to read the book yourself. And the last thing I want to do is just read to you guys really quickly. I'm going to read the mama-isms at the end of chapter 1, aka Law 1. The mama-isms are essentially nothing worth having comes easy. You have to work twice as hard as everyone else to get anywhere. You are worthy and deserving of having the best of everything. Make yourself number one. If you don't take care of yourself first, no one else will. Even though I don't agree with every mama-ism, because I believe in working smarter and not harder, I definitely can say that I agree with these mama-isms, and I think the chapter backs it up. And that's something that I like about the structure of the book. Also, in the cultural code, I think that's very interesting. It basically just sums up the chapter. And in the first chapter, which is to always treat yourself like a VIP, which focuses on self-esteem, they talk about the history of our culture and how we're basically a subculture within a dominant culture. So we're gonna always see different things in a workplace, like people moving ahead of you, people failing up even though you're just as smart as them, even though you have not failed as much as them. You know, they're still moving ahead of you, and as well as people you train and you have more experience over, they don't look like you, moving forward. And I think that's important to talk about. Pretty much my first impression is I think that I'm going to enjoy this book, and I think this could be a positive book to add to your collection, to keep you inspired, to keep you motivated. So I'm going to continue reading, and I want you guys to check out this book, whether you're a man or woman, black or white. If you can look past who it's for, I think you can walk away with some knowledge and some insight. And if you aren't a person of color, if you aren't a black woman or a black man, you can also get insight on the opposite effect of privilege. You can see what it's like. You can get an idea of what it's like to be in someone else's shoes. Even though you may not face these actual problems yourself, you will see what we face on a day-to-day. Not to say in any way that our skin color is a disability, because it's not. It only makes us stronger. It only makes us prevail and push harder and achieve much more. And we build up a certain strength. But definitely, if you're not a person of color, you still can read this to get insight on the day-to-day life, or the day-to-day struggle, or the strength that's required for someone of color, whether they're a woman or man, to survive in the corporate America, in the world, period. So yeah, you guys check out the book. And that's pretty much my first impression. I'm gonna send you guys out like this. Remember to wake up, pray, get pretty, hustle and repeat. Your girls out. Bye. Go ahead and like Pretty Girls Read on IG, and I will be back with many more videos. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. You guys stay dope.